Do you think bad weather means a little rain, strong wind, or a storm that makes people stay home for the afternoon? Then explain this. A desert valley in California where the air becomes so hot that the ground seems to breathe fire. A mountain in New Hampshire where winds have screamed across the summit with the force of a hurricane. A village in India where rain does not simply fall from the sky, it attacks the land for months. A frozen settlement in Siberia where breathing outside in winter can feel like inhaling needles. An island in the Indian Ocean where storms line up one after another like the atmosphere itself is hunting the land. And a place in Antarctica where the wind can erase footprints, swallow buildings in snow, and make the outside world vanish in seconds. Today, we are going to explore the top 10 places with the most extreme weather on Earth, where even locals know that sometimes the smartest thing to do is not to be brave. It is to stay inside. These places are not imaginary. They are not scenes from disaster movies. They exist on the same planet where people build homes, roads, weather stations, farms, temples, research bases, and towns. But in these locations, weather is not background. Weather is the main character. It shapes how people live. It decides when they travel. It controls what can be built, what can survive, and what must be abandoned. In some places, the danger is heat. In others, cold. In others, wind, rain, lightning, storms, snow, fog, or sudden changes that turn ordinary life into a test. Every place in this video has a scientific explanation. But when the sky turns black, the wind begins to roar, or the temperature moves beyond what the body can understand, the explanation no longer feels comforting. Because the weather is asking only one question: do you really want to go outside? Let's begin. Number 10. Death Valley, California. The valley where heat becomes a physical force. Death Valley does not need a dramatic name. It already has one. Located in eastern California, this desert basin is famous for some of the highest air temperatures ever recorded on Earth. The name alone feels like a warning, but the real danger is not just the number on a thermometer. It is the way the heat surrounds everything. In Death Valley, summer does not feel like a season. It feels like a pressure. The sun presses down, the rocks hold heat, the air becomes heavy, the horizon trembles, even shadows seem weak. From a distance, the landscape is beautiful. Golden mountains, salt flats, cracked earth, empty roads stretching into silence. At sunrise and sunset, the colors can look almost peaceful. But beauty is the trap. Because when the sun rises higher, the valley changes. Metal becomes too hot to touch. Water disappears faster than expected. A short walk can become dangerous. A broken car can become a serious emergency. The desert does not have to move quickly to threaten you. It only has to wait. The official explanation is geography. Death Valley sits below sea level, surrounded by mountains that trap heat. Dry air, clear skies, and dark rocks help the landscape absorb and hold extreme temperatures. But that explanation does not fully capture the feeling of standing there. Because Death Valley is not only hot, it is silent hot, huge hot, unforgiving hot. Locals, rangers, and experienced desert travelers understand the rule. You respect the heat, or the heat teaches you respect. You do not hike casually in the middle of the day. You do not assume your body can handle it. You do not treat the desert like a normal place. In Death Valley, the weather is invisible, but it is everywhere. There is no wall of snow, no roaring storm, no dramatic wave, just air. And that air can be enough. Number 9. Mount Washington, New Hampshire. The mountain where wind loses control. Mount Washington is not the tallest mountain in the world. It is not even close. But height is not the only thing that creates danger. Sometimes, location matters more. The mountain has recorded winds so powerful that the place became legendary among meteorologists and climbers. From below, Mount Washington can look beautiful. Forested slopes rise toward rocky ridges. Clouds drift across the summit, In summer, tourists may see it as a dramatic but reachable mountain. But the summit tells a different story. Up there, the weather can change with frightening speed. A clear sky can become fog, light wind can become violent, temperatures can drop, ice can form, clouds can swallow the world until visibility nearly disappears. The wind is the real monster. It does not simply blow. It pushes, it screams, it tears at clothing, balance, and breath. In extreme conditions, standing upright can become a challenge. Walking can become a calculation. The air itself becomes something you must fight. The official explanation is meteorology. Mount Washington's position makes it a perfect target for powerful winds and fast-moving weather systems. But when you are on the summit, science becomes personal. You do not think about pressure gradients, you think about your feet, your hands, your next step, the distance to shelter, the sound of the wind hitting the building like something alive. Locals and mountain workers know the truth. The mountain may look small on a global map, but its weather does not behave small. Mount Washington proves that extreme weather does not need to happen in a remote polar wasteland or desert furnace. Sometimes, the atmosphere chooses one mountain and turns it into a warning. Number 8. Mawsynram, India, the village where the sky falls for months. In many places, rain means relief. In Mawsynram, rain means surrender. Located in the hills of Meghalaya in northeastern India, Mawsynram is often described as one of the wettest inhabited places on Earth. Here, the monsoon does not arrive quietly. It comes with power, weight, and patience. The rain can continue for days, then weeks, then months. Clouds roll in from the Bay of Bengal, rise against the hills, cool, and release huge amounts of water over the landscape. The result is a world shaped by rain. Green cliffs, waterfalls everywhere, mist moving through valleys, roads shining under constant water, roofs built to resist endless impact, paths turned slick, rivers rising, the sound of rain becoming part of daily life. From a distance, it is breathtaking, a lush world of clouds and jungle. But living there is different from admiring it. When rainfall becomes extreme, ordinary movement becomes difficult. Clothes stay damp, roads can be dangerous, landslides become a threat, visibility disappears behind sheets of water, the sky feels low and heavy, as if the clouds are pressing directly on the village. Locals adapt, they build for the rain, they plan around the rain, they understand the rhythm of the monsoon better than any visitor could. But even they know there are days when the weather is too much. Days when going outside is not courage. It is a mistake. The official explanation is geography and monsoon flow. Moist air is forced upward by the hills, releasing astonishing rainfall. But the emotional reality is simpler. Mawsynram is a place where the sky does not sprinkle. It pours itself onto the earth. And when the monsoon is at full strength, the outside world becomes less like a landscape and more like a waterfall with streets inside it. Number 7. Oymyakon, Russia, the village where cold becomes silence. There is cold. And then there is Oymyakon. Located in Siberia, Oymyakon is known as one of the coldest, permanently inhabited places on Earth. Winter temperatures can fall so low that the idea of normal outdoor life begins to collapse. Cars must be protected, batteries struggle, metal can become dangerous to touch, breath freezes into ice crystals, eyelashes collect frost, the air feels sharp enough to cut. But the strangest thing about extreme cold is not always the temperature, it is the silence. In deep winter, Oymyakon can feel like a settlement at the edge of human possibility. Snow covers the ground, smoke rises from chimneys, the sky glows pale. The landscape becomes blue, white, and still. People live there. Children go to school when conditions allow. Families work, cook, travel, and survive. Life does not stop completely, but life changes shape. Outside, every action must be planned. Clothing is not fashion, it is armor. Time outside is measured carefully. A simple mistake can become dangerous because cold does not forgive slowly. It enters fingers, feet, lungs, and machines. The official explanation includes geography. Oymyakon sits in a valley where cold air can settle and become trapped. Siberian winter, continental climate, and long dark nights all combine to create extreme cold. But facts cannot fully describe what minus temperatures feel like when they pass beyond ordinary imagination. In Oymyakon, winter is not just weather. It is a condition of existence. Locals understand that the cold is not an enemy to defeat. It is a reality to obey. You prepare before opening the door. You respect the air before stepping into it. Because in Oymyakon, going outside is never casual. It is a decision. Number 6. Cape Denison, Antarctica, the windiest home of ice. Antarctica is already the coldest, driest, and most hostile continent on Earth. But some parts of it are extreme even by Antarctic standards. Cape Denison, in East Antarctica, has long been known for brutal, katabatic winds. These are powerful winds created when extremely cold, dense air flows down from the high interior of the ice sheet toward the coast. At Cape Denison, those winds can turn the world into chaos. Snow does not simply fall, it flies sideways. Ice crystals whip through the air. Visibility can collapse. The landscape becomes a blur of white movement. Buildings are buried. Equipment is battered. Footprints vanish almost instantly. Early Antarctic explorers learned how savage this place could be. The weather did not merely make life uncomfortable, it controlled every task. Imagine trying to walk while the wind pushes against your body like an invisible wall. Imagine trying to hear another person while the air roars around you. Imagine stepping outside and seeing almost nothing, even though the land is open in every direction. That is the strange terror of Antarctic wind. There may be no cliff beside you, no fire, no flood, no animal, nothing dramatic in the usual sense. Just wind and snow. But together, they can erase the world. The official explanation is the flow of dense cold air from the Antarctic ice sheet. Gravity pulls it downward. The landscape channels it. The coast receives it with violent force. But standing there would not feel like a lesson in physics. It would feel like the continent is trying to push you back indoors. Cape Denison reminds us that Antarctica is not empty. It is active, loud, and powerful. Its weather is not an interruption to life. It is the reason life barely belongs there. Number 5. Catatumbo, Venezuela, the place where lightning keeps returning. At the mouth of the Catatumbo River in Venezuela, near Lake Maracaibo, there is a weather phenomenon so intense that it seems almost mythical. Lightning can appear again and again over the same region, night after night, season after season. The sky flashes, clouds pulse with electricity, the horizon glows, storms form over the lake and surrounding wetlands, creating one of the most famous lightning hotspots on Earth. From far away, it can look beautiful, a natural light show over dark water. But up close, lightning is never just beautiful. It is dangerous, loud, unpredictable, and powerful enough to turn the night into a warning. The Catatumbo region has a unique combination of geography and weather. Warm, moist air from the lake and surrounding lowlands interacts with winds and mountain terrain, helping storms develop in repeated patterns. The result is a sky that seems unable to rest. For locals, lightning is part of the identity of the region. It has been seen, named, studied, and lived with for generations. But familiarity does not erase danger. When storms build, people know to respect the sky. There are places where people fear what comes from the ground. Here, the danger comes from above. What makes Catatumbo so unforgettable is the repetition. Most storms arrive, strike, and leave. But here, lightning returns like a ritual. The night becomes a stage. The clouds become charged. The lake reflects the flashes. And the horizon looks as if it is being photographed by nature itself, again and again. The scientific explanation is fascinating. But the feeling is older than science. A dark sky splitting open with electricity, while the people below wait for it to pass. Number 4. Cherrapunji, India. The cliffs where rain carves the world. Not far from Mawsynram lies another legendary place of rain, Cherrapunji. Also located in Meghalaya, Cherrapunji is famous for extreme rainfall, steep green valleys, roaring waterfalls, and monsoon conditions that can transform the landscape into a world of water. Here, rain is not only weather, it is architecture. It carves cliffs, feeds rivers, grows forests, shapes bridges made from living roots, turns dry paths into streams, sends waterfalls crashing from high plateaus into deep valleys below. From the air, the region is stunning. Green mountains wrapped in mist, white waterfalls dropping through clouds, villages perched in a landscape that seems too wet to remain stable. But beauty and danger live side by side. Extreme rainfall can bring landslides, roads can collapse, rivers can rise suddenly, mist can hide edges, trails can become slippery and dangerous. What looks like paradise in a travel image can become threatening during the full force of the monsoon. Locals have learned to live with this rhythm. They understand the rain as both gift and danger. It brings life, but it also demands caution. Visitors often come for the scenery, but locals know the deeper truth. When the monsoon is strongest, the cliffs, roads, and rivers all change personality. The official explanation is similar to Mawsynram. Moist monsoon winds rise against the Khasi hills, releasing enormous rainfall. But Cherrapunji feels different because the landscape shows the result so dramatically. The rain has sculpted everything. It is visible in every waterfall, every mossy stone, every wet cliff, every cloud-filled valley. In Cherrapunji, the weather does not simply happen above the land. It builds the land. And sometimes, when the rain becomes too heavy, even those who know it best step back and wait behind walls until the sky finishes speaking. Number 3. Tornado Alley, United States. The plains where the sky can touch the ground. Across parts of the central United States, there is a region known for some of the most powerful tornado-producing storms on Earth. People often call it Tornado Alley. The exact boundaries can shift depending on the definition, but the idea is familiar. Open plains, colliding air masses, severe thunderstorms, and the possibility that the sky may suddenly lower itself into a spinning column. A tornado is one of the most frightening forms of weather because it looks alive. It forms from the storm, it reaches downward, it moves across the land with terrifying focus. It can destroy one building and leave another nearby, almost untouched. It can appear quickly, change direction, and vanish, leaving behind silence where there was once a roar. The Central Plains are especially vulnerable because warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico can meet cold, dry air from the north or west, creating severe storm conditions. Wind shear can help storms rotate. Under the right conditions, tornadoes can form. Scientists understand the ingredients. But prediction is still difficult in the human sense, because knowing a storm may produce a tornado is not the same as knowing exactly who will be in its path. Locals in tornado-prone regions live with watches, warnings, sirens, shelters, and weather radios. They may spend calm afternoons watching the sky with practiced attention. They know the strange colors, the heavy air, the sudden stillness before a storm. And when the warning comes, they do not go outside to stare. They go inside, underground, if possible, because tornado weather is not something to challenge. The plains may look peaceful under blue skies, endless fields, long roads, small towns, quiet horizons. But the atmosphere above them can become violent with astonishing speed. Tornado Alley is a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous weather does not come from mountains, oceans, deserts, or ice. Sometimes it forms over open land, where there is nothing to stop the sky from touching the earth. Number 2. Reunion Island, the storm target in the Indian Ocean. In the Indian Ocean, east of Madagascar, Reunion Island rises from the sea with volcanic mountains, deep valleys, forests, cliffs, and dramatic coastlines. It is beautiful, but its location also places it in the path of powerful tropical cyclones. When storms approach, the island can face extreme rain, violent wind, flooding, landslides, and dangerous seas. Tropical systems over warm ocean water can intensify and deliver astonishing amounts of moisture against the island's steep terrain. The result can be overwhelming. Rain falls in sheets, water rushes down slopes, rivers swell, roads become dangerous, waves attack the coast, wind bends trees and tears across exposed areas. The mountains catch the storm and force even more rain from the clouds. Reunion is not just hit by weather. It reshapes weather. The island's volcanic landscape makes storms more dangerous because water has somewhere to fall, but not always somewhere gentle to go. It races through ravines, down cliffs, across roads, and into towns. Locals understand cyclone season. They prepare. They follow warnings. They know that the island's beauty can change quickly when the ocean sends a storm toward land. To a visitor, the island may look like paradise. Blue water, green mountains, waterfalls, beaches, tropical air. But paradise is not protection. In extreme weather, the same mountains that make Reunion beautiful can become channels for floodwater. The same ocean that brings life can bring waves and wind. The same clouds that create misty scenery can unload dangerous rain. The official explanation is tropical meteorology and island terrain. But the experience is much more direct. When a cyclone closes in, the island becomes small under the sky. And even locals know that there are days when the door should stay closed, the windows should be secured, and the outside world should be left to the storm. Number 1. Commonwealth Bay, Antarctica, the place where weather becomes a wall. The most extreme weather on Earth is not always found where people live permanently. Sometimes it is found where humans can barely remain at all. Commonwealth Bay in Antarctica is one of the most legendary places for violent wind. Like Cape Denison, it is affected by powerful, katabatic winds flowing from the interior ice sheet toward the coast. But here, the scale can feel almost unreal. Cold air accelerates down from the high Antarctic plateau. Gravity pulls it toward the sea. The wind gathers speed. Snow and ice are lifted from the surface. The horizon disappears. The world becomes white, moving, and loud. This is not weather you watch from a porch. This is weather that becomes a wall. A person outside in these conditions is not simply uncomfortable, they are vulnerable. Navigation becomes difficult. Communication becomes hard. Exposed skin is at risk. Equipment can fail. Every step takes effort. Every mistake matters. Buildings and research structures in Antarctica are designed with weather in mind, because the continent does not forgive weak planning. Doors, ropes, flags, shelters, and procedures all exist for a reason. The danger is not only the cold, it is the combination. Wind plus cold, snow plus darkness, isolation plus distance. A small problem can grow quickly because help is never close in Antarctica. The official explanation is clear. Dense cold air drains from the ice sheet toward the coast, producing extreme winds in certain regions. But when weather reaches this level, explanation feels almost too calm. Because Commonwealth Bay represents something deeper. It is a place where the atmosphere has physical power, where the outside world can disappear 3 steps from shelter, where humans are reminded that survival is not the default condition on Earth. We live here because many places allow us to, but not all places do. At Commonwealth Bay, the weather does not invite, challenge, or warn. It commands, stay inside. Conclusion. So, 10 places with some of the most extreme weather on Earth. Death Valley, where heat becomes a force you can feel in the air. Mount Washington, where wind can turn a small summit into a battlefield. Mawsynram, where the sky falls in months of endless monsoon rain. Oymyakon, where cold changes the meaning of ordinary life. Cape Denison, where Antarctic wind can erase the world in white. Catatumbo, where lightning returns again and again over dark water. Cherrapunji, where rain carves cliffs, rivers, and valleys. Tornado Alley, where the sky can lower itself into a violent, rotating column. Reunion Island, where tropical cyclones turn paradise into a storm trap. And Commonwealth Bay, where wind, ice, and isolation create one of the harshest weather environments on Earth. What connects them? Not just danger, not just records, something deeper. Each place proves that weather is not simply something we check before leaving home. It is one of the greatest forces shaping life on this planet. Weather decides where roads can survive, where houses must be stronger, where crops can grow, where planes can land, where people can walk, where science can operate, where life must adapt or retreat. We often talk about Earth as if it belongs to us, but places like these remind us of the truth. We are guests here. The atmosphere is older than our cities. The oceans are stronger than our plans. The ice does not care about our schedules. The desert does not care about our confidence. The storm does not care whether we have seen worse before. And locals in these places understand something that visitors often forget. Respect is not fear. Respect is survival. Because sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is not to step outside into the storm. Sometimes the bravest thing is to close the door, wait, and let the planet remind us who is really in control. Write in the comments which of these extreme weather places shocked you the most. Would you dare to visit one of them during its harshest season, or would you only watch from the safety of a screen? If this journey made you feel the power of Earth's weather, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because in the next episode, we will travel to the most dangerous natural places on Earth, where the landscape itself seems designed to test human survival.